tutor at King's College from 1980 to 1984. The boy in that photo, well, his name was Daniel Ashford. I don't remember a lot about him. He kept very quiet. He kept to himself. Never really stood out too much, not in sport. He was good at music, Birkin, yes. But I do remember how he left. It was a Friday, the end of school week, borders Exeat. His parents came to pick him up like always. They were heading down south, down State Highway 1, going towards Lake Taupō. I believe they had a holiday house down there, or something like that, but see, that was the last time we ever saw Daniel. He never came back to school. They said it was a drunk driver. Hit them near the lake. The car went off the road. A total wreck. His whole family sadly passed away that night. They never found, they never found Daniel's body in the lake. So when I saw that photo, that blurry frame from the film you showed me, he was just standing there. It doesn't make sense. That footage was shot 2 years after the crash at the David Bowie film. Daniel should not be in that photo.
King's College Auckland presents Kings of the Screen, brought to you by the Friends Association. With special thanks to Warren Bean and Mrs. Edwards. Life at King's had been tickling on rather smoothly. The prefects were all polishing their badges, the rowers were braving the dawn chills, and the bell, oh yes, the bell was ringing right on time. Then came the news. David Bowie, yes, that David Bowie, was coming to King's, not for a concert, mind you, but for a film. Suddenly, the school found itself at the center of something rather cinematic. Crates, cables, cameras, the works. The cricket pitch became a dolly track. The chapel echoed with the clack of clapperboards. And the boys who had never acted in a day in their lives were practicing their walks past the camera. It was a week like no other. And now, thanks to the Friends Association, we will roll back the film and take you there.
I was in schoolhouse, Form 3. I actually shared a room with Daniel for a few months. Up until he died. You know, he wasn't the kind of person you would call popular, or even really liked. But he was there, you know, quiet, neat. You know, you could kind of go the whole day without hearing him say a word. But somehow he was always like watching. You know, Daniel had this way of staring, not rudely, not directly, just this sort of distant focus, like he was waiting for something to happen. You know, I remember he used to do these impressions. Not really the kind that got laughs. They weren't jokes. They were too accurate. They were, too accurate. A teacher clearing his throat. You know, a prefect checking his watch. The headmaster's limp. You know, it was like he was trying to prove that he almost understood people better than they understood him. And then when I saw the film, you know, the David Bowie film, that single frame, just a flash of him in the background, looking at the camera, I didn't think anything of fast because, you know, it can't be him. Of course it can't be him. But the stillness of it, the way that boy stands, the way there's no one around him, no one, you know, the way no one seems to notice, it just felt familiar. Like someone had finally looked in his direction a few years late.